Night. Happy Friday night. Welcome back to Prepping with Sarge. Well, today we got a different kind of video. This one's not going to be really too much preparedness related, but we're going to have some fun. It's Friday night, right? Why not? Hang on one second. Let me see if I can do something with this lighting. I don't know if that's a whole lot better. I got to work on this setup for Friday nights. Anyways, I hope everybody's doing good. We'll give people a chance to kind of pop in here. Everything set up. Let's see. Hey Fitstem, how's it going? I give people a chance to get in here. There we go. All right, so if you're tuning in, this is the prepper Friday night prepper pre-party, and just ready for the start. I got a few. I've had a few interesting encounters in my life. Sorry guys, trying to fix that camera. I've got a few. I'm gonna give you some tonight, and this is actually gonna lead into another night of tales. Hey Bacon. That I'm going to talk about. Actually, it's kind of more like a near-death experience that I had when I had surgery a few years ago and nearly died. I can't. That's like a whole stream. So this is going to kind of lead into that and talk about. I'm going to talk about some of the other experiences that I had in my lifetime, and we'll get to that one another day. But where should we start? So as people are checking in here, kind of go through a couple things, just updates on the channel. So a lot of people have been asking me, are you monetized yet? No, I'm still not monetized. I'm working on that. I'm trying to get my hours. So if you enjoy my content, please consider helping me out by running my videos in full. I have tons of playlists in there. I've got over 200 videos. I've got videos on gardening, prepping, product reviews, knife reviews, foraging in the wilderness, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you like my stuff, go ahead and run it, help me out. I really appreciate it. And if you're doing that, if you're trying to help me out, shoot me a message either on businesswithsarge@gmail.com or a direct message over on Instagram, just so I know, because, I like to also pay it forward and help other people out as well. Really appreciate that. Got a lot of cool things going on. One of my friends, thank you. I appreciate that so much. You are awesome. Hey Sarge, Otto was asking me, why haven't I released a regular video in a while? Thank you, Bacon. Yeah, watch time is actually, in my experience, from my channel, has been harder to come by than the subscribers. I got to 1,000, pretty decent. I had some help along the way. Several of you helped me out. Urban Prepper shouted me out. A couple of Aloha shouted me out. Silver Soldier of Fortune shouted me out. And a couple people like that helped me get to 1,000, but the watch time has been the harder thing. So there are other good things going on in my business world, some stuff I can't talk about yet, but a lot of good things are happening. So Otto was asking me when. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like, as you guys are getting close too, please let me know. Direct message me so I can help you out, shout you guys out, run playlists, everything that I can do for you. I'm happy to return that. That's what it's all about. It's a social network, helping each other out. So Otto was asking me how come I haven't released any regular videos. So the reason for that is a couple things. I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life right now that's inhibited my editing time. And second thing, and it's all good stuff, and I'm going to tell you about it as soon as I can, stuff that's happening in my business world and that kind of stuff, but it's just there's things I can't talk about just yet. Second part of that is I did film some stuff. I filmed a foraging video. I filmed a foraging video, and I've been fighting with that stupid video for 3 weeks. I finally made the decision today. I'm just gonna ditch all the footage. It's not working. I'm not getting where I need to be with it. So the live streams has been where it's at, and I'm gonna record some stuff this weekend. I'm actually gonna do a review on this hat. This hat is from Wazoo Survival Gear. And you're probably thinking, Sarge, why are you reviewing a baseball hat? It's not just any baseball hat. This baseball hat has hidden compartments and hidden pockets, and you can throw all kinds of cool stuff in there. Yeah, Wazoo makes great stuff. So watch for that. I'm going to try to film that this weekend, get that going. All right, let's get into the business end of why you're here tonight, because I want to make sure I can get everybody out of here by 8:30. So if you are fond of silver and gold, hey, Miss Amy, I hope I was okay for me to say your name. I am so happy you're here. I was hoping you were going to show up. Yeah, if you feel Gunville, who just tuned in with us here, she and I go way back. And if you feel like sharing anything that goes along with what I talk about tonight in chat, you know, as long as there's certain things we have to protect for privacy. No, we're just getting started. Then you feel free to validate it. I was hoping that there's some people in my life who've witnessed some of these things, some of my family members, but I don't think any of them are chiming in tonight. But Gunville has seen some of the same stuff that I've seen, so hopefully she can validate for me. And everything I tell you tonight is the truth, okay? So let's get one more little piece of housekeeping out of the way here, and then I'll get to some stories. I want to make sure you're aware of my personal biases with this. So yeah, for the title here, hey Digital Prepper, the title is Ghost Stories. I need to tell you that I personally do not believe in ghosts, but I think there's things that we don't understand. There's things that happen all around us in the world that we don't understand. And why I say I don't believe in ghosts, I do believe in other things that are happening, and I'll do my best to explain what I think those are through these experiences. But the reason I don't believe in ghosts is the traditional definition of ghost is, for most people, is like a soul that's trapped here because it died either violently or refused to leave. I don't believe, in my personal belief system, I'm Christian, I don't believe that's even possible, right? I think my higher power would not allow a soul to be trapped, okay? So my personal belief system, it doesn't work that way. But I think there's other explanations for some of the things that I've seen and experienced. One of which, I'll just get right into it right now, is everything is energy, right? Like if as we start to understand more and more about, yeah, exactly, the quantum realm, this light spectrum, like humans can't see UV, snakes can. Humans can't see infrared. Certain animals can. Certain sounds our ears can't pick up, but dogs can, right? So there's things along the sensory spectrum that humans aren't able to. And if you want to talk about that, I definitely welcome it. I'm trying to work on, hey, Cash and Coins, trying to work on a way to get some guests on here too. So if you ever want to come on, we can set that up, Gunville. I really appreciate that. But I think there's things in our sensory realm that we don't perceive. Okay, this is just my personal belief system, and I think, just like if you go to the Grand Canyon, right, and you were to find a part of the canyon and yell something out, it echoes back to you, right? So I think our energy signatures have echoes. That's my personal belief. So when you encounter something like this, some of the things I'm going to talk about tonight, I think sometimes it's an echo, like it's an energy echo of something that was there and isn't there anymore, or not there completely. That being said, we're also, as we're starting to learn more about the quantum realms and things like that, a lot of physicists say that there's possibility that this is not the only universe. Like there's parallel universes where there's speculation that there's a universe where time flows backwards, right? So who's to say that those signals don't occasionally get crossed and little images and sounds and things like that don't leak through? That's another possibility, right? So there are explanations for this in the realm of science too, just there's things that we just don't totally understand yet. The last piece of this, right, is that some of the stories I'm going to talk about here, the things that I experienced, they didn't feel like ghosts. They felt different, not like a human soul, not like a human entity, not like a human energy, right? So they felt different. So I'll probably get into that first because there's been good experiences and bad experiences with this. But I'm going to warm you up with a story. This one's not mine. This is a very well-known story here. Appreciate all the chatter, by the way. If you guys are enjoying this so far and you're looking forward to some ghost stories, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, at 8:30, I'm going to wrap us up so that if you like silver and gold, head on over to Silver Husky's channel, right? And watch the bin show that he does with Director of Awesome. All right, so the first one here I'm going to talk about, this is not my story. This is a well-known, this is in public domain. If you ever get to come to Charleston, Charleston is one of the most haunted cities in the United States, along with New Orleans and Savannah. and Boston. A lot of these older cities have a lot of good ghost stories, right? So this one is one of our local ones here, Salem. Yes, absolutely. And I went to graduate school in Salem. Salem is an awesome city. It's so fun. This one here, if you've never heard, this is the tale of Lavinia Fisher. Okay. And everybody that lives here knows this. If you ever come to town and you want to take a ghost tour, the company that I'm going to recommend for you is called Bulldog Tours, right? Charleston is a great tourist city for adults. There's a lot of fun things for adults to do. And much like Savannah and New Orleans, Bulldog Tours is not paying me for this endorsement. I don't have any kind of partnership or affiliate with them. I don't get any money out of this. I'm endorsing them because they are awesome, and I've been, as a resident here who knows a lot about the history, I've gone on several tours with them. Charleston, South Carolina. I've been on several tours with them, and every time I learn something new, you can take different levels of it. There's PG tours. There's ones that are more like, so if you're just like campfire ghost stories, if you want to have the pants scared off of you, they have ones that will scare the pants off of you. And I'll talk about one of those in a second here. But everybody around here knows the story of Lavinia Fisher. Now, Lavinia Fisher was born in 1793. If I don't catch your comments here, guys, I apologize. I'm kind of looking at notes here too. But go ahead and give me your comments and stories. And while I'm reading this, if you do believe in ghosts, and you feel comfortable telling me so, or ghosts or entities or something else beyond what our physical perceive, go ahead and tell me in chat. I do. If you don't, that's okay too. Go ahead and put I don't. Okay. So Lavinia was born in 1793, and she lived to 1820. She is known as the first female serial killer in the United States of America. She and her husband operated a traveling inn for people to stop at that was called the 6 Mile Wayfair House. Now, you can look all this stuff up later on, okay? 6 Mile Wayfair House. And what her and her husband, and they had a couple other accomplices, were doing is they would have travelers come in, and they would talk to them, try to talk to them a little bit, find out if they had any wealth or money, if they were businesses, if they had anything, try to figure out if they've got anything in their luggage that's worth stealing. And then Lavinia would give them tea that was poisoned, and then sometime after that, the person would retire to their room that they rented out. And then this is where there's different legends about it. One version of the story has that the husband went in and made sure that they were dead by finishing it off. Another version, which seems to be corroborated by one of the survivors who got out of the house, is that the bed actually had a trap door that would open up, and it would drop the person into like a pit of spikes down below, and then they would rob them, take their money, and who knows what with the body. So this apparently went on for a while, and they made, who knows how much gold and silver and jewelry doing this. And then one of the travelers who was staying at the house felt like things were a little bit suspicious, didn't drink the tea, and instead of going to bed in the bed, he slept in a rocking chair next to the door. And he said at some point during the night, the bed opened up and basically dropped down. He got out, he escaped like through a window, I think it was, got back into town, alerted authorities, and Lavinia and her husband, and I believe the accomplices, were all arrested. This is where things get interesting. So they were eventually tried, and the actual crime was, I believe, highway robbery, which was subject to the death penalty then. So they were in the Charleston City Jail, the old city jail, which if you visit here, if you come to Charleston, you can take a tour, and they will take you down there, and you can meet what is believed to be the ghost of Lavinia Fisher. And she is very fond of women who come in with jewelry and things like that. If you wear shinies, a lot of people will say that they feel her like a cold touch on their jewelry, especially the women. Now, I can tell you that I've had family go on this tour. I am too scared to go into this old city jail. Yeah, seriously. And I've had family members that have gone on this, and they have said they felt that cold touch along their necklace. My sister-in-law had a very pretty necklace with like an angel's wing on it, and she felt the touch on that. There are people who take pictures down there and see like really weird shadowy shapes. You can go on after we're done with my live stream. Just go back and look up old Charleston City Jail ghost tours, and then go to images, and you'll see some of this stuff. Really, really interesting stuff. I had a picture on my cell phone for a long time. There's with like shadowy figures in it that somebody had given to me. I didn't take the picture. I actually deleted it because it was freaking me out so much. So they were down there for a while into the city jail, awaiting their sentencing. And the husband escaped, but wouldn't leave because she couldn't get out. They had basically made some linens to climb out, and it broke before she could escape. So he either turned himself back in or let himself get caught again, right? Now, give me just a second here to find my spot. Okay, so trial and execution. So eventually they were sentenced to death by hanging, and the husband, they were offered the opportunity to meet with ministry and council. The husband accepted this, and when he was going to the gallows, basically tried to say, you know, because I'm a reformed Christian, I cannot lie, and I'm telling you to the crowd that I am not guilty, right? Well, I don't think it worked out too well for him. Now, Lavinia did not accept ministry, and here's what she did. When she went up to the gallows, and they put the noose around her neck, the last thing she said to the crowd was, "If any of you have a message for the devil, tell me now, for I shall be seeing him shortly." And she jumped off. She didn't wait for them to push or for the gallows to drop. Her ghost is believed by many I told you my beliefs at the beginning of this. Something is still in that old Charleston jailhouse. If you come down here, I want you to go check that out if you think that you're courageous enough. I'm telling you right now, I have not done that tour. I have no intentions of doing that tour after hearing from family members that have been on that tour. But that is Lavinia Fisher, one of the better known ghost stories here in Charleston, South Carolina. One of the better known ghost stories here in Charleston, South Carolina. We are considered a very, very haunted city. There is a lot of stories here. And I could just do a whole stream of just Charleston stories, but I'm going to give you some of my own personal ones now. All right. Now. Yeah, and you can bring in your cameras. I think there's been several ghost adventures and ghost hunters and things have been shot here. You can bring your cameras in. They welcome that. It's actually good for the tourism, for people to take pictures and then load it out on Google for people to see. And there's many, many ones out there. Look for a picture that's called, Majors is really into this stuff. You're right. Look for a picture that's called the Red Room Charleston Ghosts, something like that. That's the one that I had on my phone for a little while and deleted. Creepy, creepy, creepy. All right, so the house that I grew up in, right? So I lived in Massachusetts. The house that I grew up in, we moved there when I was 4 years old. So it wasn't the first house that I grew up in, but it was the house that I grew up in until I moved away. And I would at nighttime see interesting things. Now, this is where I don't feel like these were good entities, whatever it was. I'm going to use the word entity because I don't know what it was. But I would see things in my room that were like shadowy figures at nighttime. One of them had like a humanoid type body, but no features. The best way I can describe this is if you know when your TV, if those of you who are older than 30, you remember before cable or whatever, with the TV when it was on a channel that had no reception, it would hit that static. You know what that looks like, the white static? That's what the body was composed of. It looked like that, like static electricity. And they were very scary. And I would frequently tell my parents and like white noise basically. Most of the time they just kind of stand there and look at me. But I would tell my dad, like there's something in the room, and of course they just thought I was a kid making up stories about the boogeyman or whatever, but it's going to get more interesting than this. My dad would be like, I love my dad, he's awesome, but he'd be like, well, you're gonna have to act like a man. What are you gonna do when you become an adult? You're gonna ask your wife to protect you. My dad was 82nd Airborne. He's just a tough guy basically. So I suffered through this for like most of my childhood with these horrible things coming in my room. Now, what makes this more interesting, yeah, is my dad never saw any of this stuff. My sister did. I have two sisters, and my dad is a great man. Thank you. Yeah, I have two sisters. I have a younger brother, and so here's what's interesting. My dad never saw. He still lives in that house. He's never seen anything unusual, paranormal, whatever. My oldest sister. I mean, that's a possibility, Fitstem. I can't rule that out. Thanks, guys, Adrian, Nico. I'm actually going to be talking to him very soon, so I will relay those messages that you guys are praising him for his service. He will appreciate that. So my dad has never seen anything in the house paranormal. One of my sisters has never seen anything in the house paranormal. Me, my brother, my other sister, and my mother all did. Okay, so you can say if maybe there's a genetic component to this where we were a little bit more open to this, we could kind of see between that veil or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how any of this stuff works, but I'm going to tell you some of the stories that corroborate what my experience was. My sister Jean used to, she could see much more detail than I could. She said that she saw an old woman frequently in the house. To the best of our knowledge, nobody died in the house, but that part of the country, goes back to the 1600s. So we don't know, I used to go exploring out in the woods there, and we found stuff in the woods like old cabin materials, rock walls from borders that didn't exist anymore, that got overgrown. So that area has been developed for hundreds of years, at least since the late 1600s. So who knows if somebody lived there before, but to our recollection, nobody died in the house, to our knowledge. Now my brother, he saw the most creepiest stuff of all. He said that when he was sleeping, this hang on. Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're right. I think different people, just like different people have better hearing than others, different people, we're all born biologically a little bit different, right? As far as I know, nobody died. So my brother said that when he would sleep in there, he would sometimes see this shadowy figure hovering over him. I don't ever remember that happening to me, but it would hover over him, and he said he would feel cold. And he said one time he looked at his watch and the numbers were acting funny on his watch. So he got up, ran and turned on the light, and it poofed, disappeared. He won't go back into that room. To this day, my brother does not like to go into that room. He says he's done. I don't know what it is. I can tell you that 4 people in my family all sensed a different version of it, and my father and one of my sisters did not. So genetically wired different. I don't know. Yes, so it was his room that happened in. Thanks for joining in, Cash and Coins. I really appreciate it. It was his room that happened to. Yeah, I don't know. It was his room that happened in, and my sister that would see the old woman. So when we visit, he sleeps in my old bedroom now, which he believes has less incidents. I guess it did, in that I never saw the level of detail that he and my other sister saw. I never saw that. It was I could see figures, but they were never detailed. Interesting, Bacon. So the last piece that my mom, when she was passing away from cancer, she died in the house. Yeah, so not everybody can, and I think for people who never have that experience, I'll come back to my mom in a second. I think for people who never have an experience, they just kind of look at you like it's all in your head. But Gunville, you and I know, because we had a shared experience, which I'm going to get to here in a minute. when something happens, it's very, very real. You know, people who maybe some people are never going to believe it, but the stuff that I'm going to tell you about in a minute here, involving physical things being manipulated, it's very. I don't know if I would call it sixth sense fit stem. I mean, I don't really think of it like that way. I don't know what it is. Yeah, nah, she had a rough passing. Thank you, Bacon. Yeah. So let me finish that part, and then I'll go into the one that Gunville and I share. So when my mom was passing from cancer in the last, in the last few weeks, she said that she could see people in the house. They weren't. She said they weren't scary. I was with her, and I said, I asked, well, what are they doing? She said they're just standing there, and I said, well, ask them what they want, and she did, but they didn't answer her. When she passed away, we had the morning that she passed away, there was 7 deer on the lawn, and that was pretty unusual for that neighborhood. Like, you might see a deer occasionally, but there were 7 deer grazing on the lawn. It's pretty interesting. So I'm gonna go into the next story. I don't know what that is in my dad's house. I really don't. I can tell you that it's whatever it is, it's very real. I don't feel scared there anymore because it didn't feel like a good thing, whatever it was. Hey Mac, it's good to see you. It didn't feel like a good thing, whatever it was. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. She's in heaven. She's not suffering. I really appreciate that. I can tell you I'm not scared anymore because when I've encountered stuff like this, if I want it to go away, what works for me is, I'll call on my faith. I'll call on my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I'll say Psalm 23. That's never not worked for me if I want something to stop. Okay. So I'm not afraid to go back into that house. I'm not afraid to sleep in that room at this point. When I was a kid, I was terrified. It was pretty rough not knowing what was going on and how to deal with it and that kind of thing. All right, so next story. All right, 8:12. I got 15 minutes, right? Because I got to get you guys to that other one. I'm gonna go quick here. So Gunville and I used to work at. We're gonna change some information here just to protect confidentiality and whatnot. But we used to work in a group home together, and there was some interesting stuff that would happen in this group home. First thing we started noticing is that like staff would say, I always feel like there's somebody looking over my shoulder, right? Like there was something there, you turn around, there was nothing there. That was the first thing that people started noticing. Gunville and I worked the overnight shifts. And one of the nights that I was working with, not her, but one of our other coworkers, we were wrapping up the shift, kids were off to their day program, and my coworker comes running out to my car and he's like bleached white, like scared, and he comes up and he's like hands on the of my windshield like that. So I roll down the window, I'm like, you all right? And he goes, you're not gonna believe me what I just saw. And I'm like, well, I'm pretty open-minded, go ahead and try me. And he said, I think I just saw a ghost. And I said, okay, tell me what you saw. And he said, he was out of the corner of his eye, he saw an old lady like basically cross past the hall into a room. And he said it was so real, so physically real, that he went into the room thinking it was a parent or grandparent that was, there to visit the kids. Penny. And nothing was in the room, right? So I said, all right, do you want me to go back in with you? And he's like, no, I'm just going to get my stuff and go, and we're done, right? So after that, things started really lighting up in the house. Like, people started really feeling that presence of something looking. Now, I don't know about you, Gunville, I never felt like, I never felt like it was scary, like it was a bad entity. I didn't feel that. I felt like it was just there. Right. And it would creep me out when something would happen. My skin would crawl, but I never felt like it was a bad thing, that it was angry or wanted us to leave or anything like that. Just creepy. Yeah. Because you'd be like, what is happening? So the next thing that happened with me is I was working another night, and this was with another employee, and there was a door to one of the kids' rooms that was. Yeah, there was a door to one of the kids' rooms. So if you ever had a house that, like an old house that settles a little bit And you know how like if you've got a rug or a carpet, the door won't quite close all the way, like because it's settled, and the door, there was a door that was like that, like the door could not close. And so we're sitting there, you know, I think my coworker was reading and I was watching TV, and we hear slam, and we're like, what was that? We thought one of the kids got up and slammed the door. So we go and check it out, and it's that door that doesn't close, and we're like, that's really weird. So we open it up. We have to push a little bit, open it up. And we're asking the kid that was in there, did you just get up and shut this? He's asleep. We had to ask it several times, and then finally he answered, and he's like, no, you know, like, leave me alone, I'm trying to sleep. So we're looking around, maybe one of the other kids was sneaking around, messing with us. Everybody seemed to be asleep. All right, don't know what happened. Let's just go, you know, go back to our shift, whatever. So she starts reading again, I'm watching TV. About 15 minutes later, slam, happens again. And now we're like, okay, somebody's messing with us. So we search the whole house like really good. Every kid is asleep and still can't figure out what's happening. No windows open to create a draft, nothing like that. And so we're like, this is weird. So we finally give up, we go and sit down again. 15 minutes later, slam again, same door. So finally I looked at her and I said, I don't know what's happening, but somebody wants that door shut. Leave it shut. And that's what we decided to do. It was scary. And then one of the kids started talking about an old woman that she called Penny. And it was happening more and more and more. Yeah, stop opening my door. Really, really weird stuff. I don't have a good explanation for it. I don't think the house was haunted, to be honest with you. The door actually opened. See, I don't think I was there that night, Gunville. So the door actually opened, the front door. That's really weird. Yeah, absolutely, Sarge. So I didn't feel like that house was haunted, honestly. We knew the people who owned the house before they became a residential, good people. And as far as we know, it was you and okay. It's cold to me. Yeah. I think to me, it felt more like that was some kind of protector for one of the kids. That's my best guess, but I don't know any more than you guys. Gunville, do you agree with that? Do you think it was like somebody or something like just watching over one of the kids? It never felt oh yeah, always hearing footsteps. Yeah, that happened a lot. But I never felt like that it was something that was bad, you know, or angry at us or anything like that. It was just when things would happen, it was weird. No, neither of us work there anymore. In fact, I don't think it's a group home anymore. I think it's just a house now. Really? So yeah, so Gunville worked there longer than I did. I left not because of that reason, just took a different job. So I guess when the house was closing or after the kids were leaving, it was still there. That's interesting. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of like you all said, there's a lot of stuff that we don't understand. I would say, you know, again, for me as an adult, I don't really get scared when I encounter something weird because I go to my faith and that seems to make it stop. So do you want to come on sometime, Gunville, and talk about that? If I can figure out how to do the StreamYard, you'd basically be able to come on as a guest. And you know, if you've got a laptop, you could do it through that. If you got a smartphone, you could do it through that, and we could talk about that. Okay, we'll talk off. We'll talk off, and we'll set it up. We'll talk through our messenger chat. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We're gonna start to wind this down. If you did, please, if you haven't already done so, give me a thumbs up. Gunville, thank you so much for joining me. It was a genuine pleasure to have somebody here to validate, so that people don't think that I'm just making stuff up. It's a weird world. There's so much stuff out there that we don't understand. But when I was a kid, this stuff really did terrify me. And I guess I am still afraid in that I'm not going into that old Charleston City jail. I don't I don't feel like meeting Lavinia, to be honest with you. I don't want to get to know her. The but if you do come to Charleston, it is a great city. There's lots of fun stuff to do here, and the ghost tours are fun. You could do a PG one, and if you're somebody that I interact with regularly, let me know when you're in town, and I'll meet up with you. Yeah, I've got a few more. I've got a few more ghost stories. I've got two. I was looking at my notes here. I've got one really interesting one that didn't involve me. Yeah, didn't involve me. It was actually somebody else that I know, but I saw a picture of it, and it was the best. I wish I had that picture, but it's not mine, and I don't talk to that person anymore. It's my ex-wife. It was the best ghost picture that I ever saw. I'll tell you that story sometime, and then I will tell you my near death story too. So maybe I'll save that story. Okay, cool. Definitely bacon. That'd be cool. I think I'll save my near death story for when I can get Gunville on as a guest here, and we can kind of share our experiences. And then I know I have a friend that also was in a coma. He died, but then was in a coma for like 4 days. Told me some really interesting near death stuff too. Changed his life. So I got some cool stuff to do. It's not really prepper related, but I think it's kind of fun to do these kind of off topic stuff once in a while. So I really appreciate y'all. Hope you're having a good Friday. Please remember to support each other. Check out each other's channels. Everybody here creates really cool content. If you're hanging out for the night, go check out Silver Husky and Director of Awesome's bin show. You can check that out over on Silver Husky's channel. And Morgan is, I think, going live at 10:30. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining me, guys. I think she's going live at 10:30 with some preparedness stuff. So if you're staying up late, you can check that out too. I will be sure to check out everybody's channels. Thank you guys so much for staying with me for the whole time. I hope you had a good time here in the Ghost Stories. Sleep well tonight. Keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Gunville, so much for helping me with those stories. I really appreciate it.